Hello again, boys and girls. Now we're going to do religion. As you know, we are in the liturgical season of Easter. Even though Easter has passed, we are still celebrating the resurrection of Jesus and his gift of new life. And in the stories that we've been hearing this week, we're talking about when he appeared to some of his friends and followers after he rose from the dead. And the first person was his friend Mary Magdalene. Remember, she went to the tomb and she saw the stone was moved. So of course she went in and she saw that he wasn't there. And she got very upset and was crying. She thought someone stole his body. But then angels were there, and they said, "Don't cry, he's risen." But she was still confused and still didn't understand, because seeing an angel talk to you is not an everyday occurrence, right? If you saw one, you'd be like, is that real or is that not real? So I think she was a little confused too. Then when she went outside of the cave, she saw a man, and she thought he was the gardener. And she said, "Please bring my Lord back." And then when he spoke and said, "Mary," she realized that it was Jesus. And he told her to go back and tell his friends that they would see him again too. So now whether or not his friends believed it or not, we don't know yet. But then in the story I read yesterday, two of his disciples were walking down the road talking about how sad it was that all those terrible things that happened to Jesus, who was so wonderful, and they really hoped that he was the Messiah, the Savior. And then who started walking with them? Right, Jesus. But they didn't know it was Jesus at first, right? And they continued walking and talking, and they were surprised that this man they didn't know was Jesus hadn't heard about all the events that had happened. Then they invited the man that they didn't know was Jesus yet to join them for dinner. And he accepted. And when he broke the bread and gave thanks and praise to God, then they realized that it was Jesus, because it sounded very familiar to, right, the Last Supper. But as soon as they realized it was him, Jesus quick left. So he's doing a lot of his visiting in secret because he doesn't want the soldiers to come after him again. So as soon as these two guys realized it was Jesus, what did they do? They actually did exactly what Jesus wanted them to do. They went back and told the others. So now let's see what happens. Jesus' apostles have heard now from Mary Magdalene, from the two disciples on the walk. Hey, we saw him. He is alive. But, of course, they're like, well, then where is he? Why wouldn't he come back and see us too? Why isn't he walking around? So let's hear today's story. Now, Jesus' apostles, they weren't going out in public a lot. They were trying to stay in hiding because they were afraid for their own safety. They were afraid that the Roman soldiers would come and get them too for having been followers of Jesus and friends of Jesus. So they've been hiding out a lot. The disciples had locked themselves in a small room, the same room in which they had the Last Supper with Jesus. They were afraid that the leaders would send soldiers to arrest them. So there's one peeking out the door. Now, do you think that they would need to hide? Right? You would think that Jesus would probably protect them, right? I think so. But they were scared. Then, suddenly, Jesus appeared to them. He walked right through the door. He said, "Peace be with you." Do we ever say those words? That's right. In church, we say, "Peace be with you." They thought it was a ghost at first. They were scared. But then Jesus said, "Here, touch my hands and touch my feet, and then you'll know it is really me. Does a ghost have bone and flesh?" Now, how do you think Jesus felt? There he is now standing. He walked through the door. He just appeared, and now he's standing there. And his best buddies still aren't believing right away that it's him. Right? He probably feels a little bit sad. But I think Jesus also understands that they're not familiar with this. This has never happened before. So again, just like Mary Magdalene was a little confused when the angel spoke to her. I think his apostles, even though they were very good and loyal friends, they're still confused because these are not things that happen to people every day. However, we know that Jesus was a special person, right? Because he was sent by God. So now that they've touched him and they realize it's him, let's see what happens. The apostles all cheered. They were very, very happy to see Jesus again. However, one apostle wasn't there. Well, we know Judas wasn't there, right? That's right, because he had betrayed Jesus. However, Thomas, the apostle Thomas, is not there either. So, do you think the other apostles here, these 10, are going to tell Thomas, hey, guess who we had dinner with? Yeah, Jesus. Do you think Thomas will believe? He wasn't there. He missed it. He didn't get to see, right? Well, we will find out tomorrow. Okay, boys and girls, what color will you wear tomorrow? If today was yellow for the rainbow, tomorrow will be? That's right, green. All right, Miss Sweeney's favorite color. All right, boys and girls, I'll see you tomorrow. I love you, and have a good night.